Hello, welcome back. My name is Kenzie. I talk about homeschooling high schoolers as well as some homesteading stuff. So if that is something you're interested in hearing about or learning about, stick around. Today we're going to talk about the best thing about homeschooling our teenagers and our high schoolers. Often that's when parents freak out and we get all anxious and worried and think about the fact that this can't be done. We can't do it. And I have said multiple times in different videos that yes, you can do it 100%. And today I want to tell you the best things about homeschooling our high schoolers and our teenagers. So stick around. Okay, so here's the deal. We all know the hard things about teenagers and raising teenagers and living with teenagers. There are books written about it. There are articles, there are blog posts, there are friends and family that we confide in and they share their stories of raising their own teenagers. That's not what this video is about. We know the hard part. I want to talk to you about the awesome parts and the exciting parts and the ever-changing parts of that teenage stage in regards to homeschooling them. So teenagers are usually pretty strong-willed and have a pretty clear vision already of what they believe to be right and wrong in life. Okay, so sometimes that can be scary. I know for myself, I find it scary occasionally. Did I teach them all that I need to teach them while they were young? And yeah, it can be scary to think that they have got all their own ideas now, or a lot of their own ideas, and they have figured out kind of what life looks like for real. But don't panic. Don't stop teaching them. Don't stop letting them ask questions. That is one of the best things about teenagers is you can have intelligent conversations with them. You can talk about the hard things. You can start to teach them logic and reasoning and how to use that brain and what makes sense in life. And if it doesn't make sense, to trust their instincts. We don't need to hold their hands anymore like when they were little kids and guide every step they take and all the different directions that they're going. At this stage, they know the path that they want to take. And now our job as homeschooling parents is to guide them, encourage them, and provide the opportunities for them to take the path that they want to go on. Okay, so that was a lot right in that one little segment there. But so they know what they want, and they're capable of intelligent discussions. Another one is they're making their own choices. Okay, so again, we want to be able to let them go, to make their own choices, and then to encourage them as they make their choices. And if they fail, we want to be able to help them repair or fix the problem, but not fix it for them. Okay. And I think that's really important as homeschoolers. That's something we can do. I don't know how that works in the school system. I guess they get suspended or expelled, or they would fail a test if they made a choice not to study. And so logical consequences can still absolutely prevail in homeschooling. But I think because we have that extra time with our teenagers and we're involved in a lot more of their lives, we see the decisions they make and some of the things they're going through. And so we are available to then help them with making choices and then dealing with consequences if there are any. Okay, so those are two things that I think as homeschoolers we just have more time with our teens that I believe in traditional school you don't get, right? And so many of those decisions that are made maybe outside of our home we don't even know about. And so then how as parents do we support them and guide them and nurture and all that good stuff? So the next thing is them gaining their independence. Again, scary things for us moms. I have 2 adult kids and it's tough. It's hard to let them go off on their own and be independent, but it's important. And so again, we can nurture that, right? We can start to kind of let them go, and then we can pull back as they need, and let them go and pull back as we need. And that's important. And we, as homeschoolers, again, because we have so much extra time in our days, we can let them go a little bit, right? And we can see where they need that extra support. So yeah, lots of good things. But yeah, let's talk about what is so great about teenagers. That was the original intent of this, and now I'm kind of on a I don't know, a rabbit hole. Because teenagers know way more, of course, than when they were young children, but they know kind of what their belief system is, what their values are. They know what the world kind of looks like a little bit, or they're starting to. You can have deep, meaningful conversations with your teenagers that you couldn't have when they were children. You can talk about hard things. And this, mamas and dads, is where we as parents can still instill values, even though they have lots of it figured out already and they have their thoughts and their beliefs. I think this is the most important part, okay? Because the world is kind of crazy right now, and everything that our teens are exposed to, we as their parents, because they're home with us and because we can have good, meaningful, deep conversations, we can still help them discern right from wrong and incorporate good values into their lives. Okay, so that is probably my biggest reason for homeschooling my teenagers and keeping them home, is I know what's out there. I know what they're exposed to. I'm not in denial. My kids are still very involved in the community. They don't go to public school, but they're very involved in the community. They have friends and they know what's out there. And having the extra time at home with them and having a relationship with them that I think is probably superior, because I've chosen to homeschool. Don't leave me nasty comments. We can talk about that later. But because of that, I think that's where we can have just deep, deep, meaningful conversations about some of those tough topics, okay? And debating differing opinions and points of views. That's another thing you can do with your teenagers, right? And we need to respect each other's opinions, because they might be different than yours. I've run into that already. Sorry, my puppy's barking. They might be different than your opinions. I know my kids have had different opinions than mine, and my instinct is to, nope, you're wrong, and this is why. And I have to learn to listen to their opinions, and it helps me. It challenges me. It challenges me sometimes to find answers. My son has asked me questions that I don't have the answers to. That's another great thing about teens, is they challenge you way more than your little kids. Don't let them fluster you. It's okay if your teens ask you questions that you don't know the answers to. I think it's important, like I've said in other videos, you're still learning, I'm still learning, our teens are learning. And I think that we need to model that for them. So when my teenager asks me a question that I don't have the answer to, I thank him for asking me the question and I look for the answer. I want him to know that it's important to me, that I care about what he's asking me, and I want him to have the right information. So yeah, those are just some of the really great things about having teenagers, is we can just dig and dive deep into tough questions that we know in the public school system the answers to those questions, if they even ask them. They may not even ask them because of the culture that we are living in right now. So homeschooling your teenagers, keeping them home with you, being able to instill those values, talk about the tough things, talk about the hard things, debate on the hard things, let them challenge you. You can in turn challenge them. Ask them questions back. Sometimes that's helpful. Make them find the answers and then come back together and discuss. Anyways, I hope this has encouraged you a little bit. We know teenagers are hard, but it's an awesome stage of development. They're turning into young adults, and this time is no less important than when they're young, okay? Don't be fooled that your parenting days are done. They're not done. There is plenty of parenting left. I'm still parenting my young adults. So be encouraged, And any questions, any comments, any other tips or ideas about working with our teenagers, leave them in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and thanks for tuning in. See you.